Look at the moves, the spin, the corkscrew, the touchdown! Turbin! 6-yard touchdown run!
Rivers, he's got Hines. Great catch by Hines inside the 10. Hines spins to the pylon. Touchdown! Oh, yeah! Do your cartwheel! You deserve it after that spin move!
I loved it. Turbo, that was such a step up from the first video we had of me sipping that drink. Oh, God. So, Nyheim, I have to tell you really quick, we had our first episode, and of course, like, Turbo's doing this turnaround, getting the touchdown, fighting through the people, like, so sick. He looked electric. My clip was me sipping a drink. I'm like, okay, we have got to.
No, the hair flip, it was perfect. I like it, slow motion.
Yeah, we made some changes because I'm like, that is so, like, he looks so sick in this intro, and I'm over here sipping a drink. Like, we had to make a change, but it looked great. Obviously, this is our second episode of Turbo Mood with your hosts Liv Moods and Robert Turbo Turbin. Turbo, we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce him?
Yeah, we do have a special guest. I just want to say real quick, I love the slow-mo with the the hair flip,
Of course.
really emphasizing the flip. But anyway,
Absolutely.
We do have a special guest, Nyheim Hines, running back, return man for the Indianapolis Colts. What college you go to?
NC State.
NC State. NC State alum. Welcome to Turbo Moods, man. Listen, this is our second episode. Really appreciate you being on the show today. Got some really cool topics that we're going to discuss. I kind of want to start with the elephant in the room. Obviously, Liv and I, we come from a betting, background, right? Now that I'm not playing anymore, I've engaged more into betting on games and learning the different instances that go into betting, right? Not just like, I'm used to just betting on wins and losses, right? But now there's like props and how many points and rebounds is somebody going to get in the game and all these other details that go in it. But before we get into betting, you saw the news. Julio Jones going over there to Tennessee. Okay, Tennessee's in your play. You play those guys twice a year. They're in your division. Okay, they won a division last year. All right, I believe you guys came in second with Phillip, right, running the show at quarterback. Now you've got Carson Wentz. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I just want to get your thoughts on Julio Jones going to the Titans and how you see your team competing against that offense right now.
Well, first off, definitely I play offense. So Julio ain't my problem because that's a big problem. But what I'll say is this is literally what I said yesterday. I was talking to some friends. And I go, wow, they got two Power Rangers out wide and A.J. Brown and Julio. Then they got a gladiator at running back. So maybe they look really, really good. But, with Julio going there and not wins the divisional game, and you know how that is. So even with the addition of Julio, it's probably going to be a close game. It doesn't matter how that works in the NFL. Those divisional games are big and important. And I know one thing is we'll be ready to play. We're excited for the challenge. And, we're going to put our best foot forward no matter what happens.
Okay. Liv, you got anything on that?
All I have to say is I did a little research on you outside of being a football player, that I would say you kind of, what's the word? You surprised a lot of people in terms of your running ability. Okay. So people were I was reading all these different things and they're like, this guy's got wheels. And what I loved about your response to all of these post-game interviews or all of these people being shocked by this was you're not shocked because your skill level. It seems like you're very confident in your game. And being a young player in this league with already making such an impact, I would love to know from you, where do you see your, obviously, sky is the limit for a guy like you, but you've made all these different, impacts so early on in your career and you've shocked a lot of people. Is there more to be shocked about? Is this just the beginning of you? Do you have other things that you are hoping to accomplish? Are you doing exactly what you knew you were going to do? Or did you shock yourself a little bit in your first few years in the league?
I think the first 2 years, I think I was getting my feet in. Last year, I think was really what last season was what I envisioned when I came into the NFL. My size and all that. All the things that really don't matter running between tackles. I feel like, honestly, that's what life is about. People always try to put labels on you. And throughout my life, everybody's always been like, hey, can't run between tackles, this and that. I mean, I heard that in high school, broke the county record that was 30 years there. The same thing in college, was all first team all ACC, and I hear the same thing in NFL. So I think really with that, I think I just kind of use it to motivate me, because I promise you, when I'm working out, I work out late at night sometimes and work out 2 or 3 times. I promise you, I think about all the bad things people say about me, and sometimes I'll even circle out and highlight it, because I remember when people tell me I can't run between tackles, or I remember my rookie year when everybody was telling me I should get cut, and the day Nyheim Hines will never return a punt will be a great day in Indy, and now I'm the punt returner, so it's even better. I remember when the people used to laugh at me, and now time passes by, and a lot of people, it seems like they're at me or they're shocked. So for me, I know the work I put in. I work really, really hard. I'm a very, very hard worker, so really nothing done has shocked me. And there've been a couple plays that, like, maybe I was like, dang, like I can't believe I scored. Like the Detroit play with the spin, and I'm like, dang, I really got in there. But looking back on it, it's just truthfully what I've done my whole life. Like last year there's not a play that I made last year that I haven't done before. And
Right.
honestly, at this point, I feel like it's becoming a routine. So people can put labels on me or whatever, but I know one thing is I'm comfortable in my own skin. I know what I'm capable of. So I'm going to continue to try to shock the world. And honestly, if you want me to be real, just come out of Raleigh, North Carolina, where I've come from. I never thought I'd be here and never thought I would get this far. So they don't let me get this far. So I'm going to take it and run with it and see how far I can really go.
Absolutely. You said something in there that I think Turbo can agree with, now that he's in the betting world with me, that the fact that you are circling and highlighting these negative statements and using them to motivate you, you will never catch me betting against you when it comes to player props. That's all I've got to say, because that one liner right there is enough for me to be like, okay, I hear you and I believe you. And I think, yeah, in all the interviews that I listened that you spoke to people, you're very respectfully confident. I think that's something that I really, really liked about all the things that I read, is that so many people had such great things to say about you on the field and off the field as well. The way that you carry yourself, the way that you speak about yourself, it's enough to scare the shit out of people, but it's not coming off as disrespect, which I love. I'm sure Turbo can attest to this, that those are the players you don't want to bet against. I mean, that's and we had a team member who bet against you, and he had some very, very interesting things to say. I mean, you can see this right here. He said, "Don't you dare do a flip." I'm sure you did one immediately following that post. I mean, he was not only losing money betting against the Colts, but he was losing money.
Oh my goodness.
Betting against you in general. And then just to make it worse, to pour salt in the wound, you were flipping in his face. I'm sure he was having a rough night. But that one liner that you just said is enough to make me warn everyone out there, do not bet against this man, because he's here to prove you wrong, for sure.
That was a humble celebration, right? A respectful celebration. What do you think about all of that? Like being bet on now, have you been approached by anybody like, hey man, I'm sure fantasy football for sure. But
oh goodness, I hate fantasy.
Hey man, I need you to score a couple touchdowns tonight,
I hear that all the time. Not really much in the betting world. Obviously, with the new restrictions last year, it was a little bit different. But fantasy football-wise, I hear stuff like that all the time. But truthfully, if you want me to be honest, I really hate fantasy football. Like, because, I'll have a game where I don't do as much as I want to, and I'll post a picture on Monday or Tuesday, and somebody will be like, 2 carries for 5 yards, try to make an effing impact or whatever like that, or things like that. And I think a lot of times with this betting and fantasy world, they forget that we're people too, and also the fact that, like, shoot, I'm under contract, so you know how this works. I'm under contract, so every opportunity I get, I'm trying to make the most of it. I can't really control sometimes if I play or if I can't play, or like 2 carries or 5 yards. I don't want to have that. And I think a lot of people lose sight in that because they think about themselves, for like even betting on me or not. Like, do you think I want to have a bad game? Then if you don't think that, then why are you even bothering me? Let me go on about my day, get myself together. If I had 2 carries or 5 yards, let me figure out how I get 5 carries or 50 yards. And right. I think a lot of people, I think that's one thing that a lot of people lose sight in. But I think the whole sports betting thing is, I think it's really, really amazing. And it's really interesting. And I think, first off, I can't believe that it's taken this long. But I remember, just seeing all the things, even like having the new apps and seeing like basketball. I know on like FanDuel, you can bet like per quarter or like over under 10 points, which is like really, really crazy. I remember like back in high school, we would just bet on the Super Bowl and I would just bet $50 on a team. And now you can bet points by quarter. You can make money and you don't even have to be right on who wins or loses the game. You just have to be right with the stats, which is, I think, amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really like detailed. But don't you think there's a little danger to it, though? The legalization of sports betting. Like, someone comes up to you, Nyheim, and you're in the fourth quarter and you've got, 12 carries for 95 yards, and, you're just about to hit the century mark, but somebody approached you earlier in the game and said, hey, man, I need you to stay under 100 yards, for X amount of dollars. Don't you think there's a space of danger in there where certain things like that can happen? And now we're not getting like the purity of the sport.
Absolutely. Well, first off, this is what I'll say. One of my favorite movies is The Longest Yard. So one thing I will tell you is I will not be Paul Crewe because I won't point shave. And I think I don't think anybody's like that. I hope that a lot of guys have the integrity because let's be real. Like you can say this, we played football our whole life. So even at this point, it's not even about money. This is a game I love. So for me, at least personally, I'm not point shaving. And personally, for me, I have a chance to get 100 yards. I'm definitely gonna get it. So if somebody told me that, I'm definitely gonna try to run for 200 yards. And I think that's just really how things go. You really just have to have integrity with the game. And you know how the game is. People don't have to love the game, but you have to respect the game and do what you're supposed to and put the work in. If you respect the game, she's always going to take care of you one way or another.
Yeah, that's huge. I think this is making me realize that my little saying of life is so accurate. Life is too short to bet the damn under, okay? Why on earth would you want to watch a game where you're hoping that they don't play well? I've never understood that. Now, there is value sometimes. Like when I'm looking at an NBA game, I'm going, okay, Nuggets, for example, they allow the least amount of rebounds in the league. So I'm probably not going to bet the over on rebounds when, the Trailblazers are playing them. That, understandable.
Now, when you're watching... hold on real quick, Liv. Do you
like the Nets?
Do I what now?
Yeah. Well, I'm just asking Nyheim. I want to make sure he understands over under.
Yeah,
I did.
Even our game. So look, it's like on my phone, right? So even on my phone, I have an app on my phone, so it's a sports alert. So even on our games, like I'll literally be like just randomly, how it is. You'll check to see who else is playing one time, and even for the Colts, I'll see Colts versus whoever, and I'll see the over and under on that, and I think that's interesting. So even like the Nets, you always bet over because they don't play no defense. Like
right,
you're gonna give they're giving up 120, 130. So I get the whole over and under, and even in the training room, Brian in college, we even look at spreads, and that was I didn't understand that till 3 years ago. So even the spreads and over and under, it's so much technicalities of how you can win money. You almost have to try to lose it. All you have to do is just research and figure out the right things.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But that's my thing is it's why would I ever, if I bet the under, it's because I truly see value in it. But if I'm betting the under, I'm not watching the game because why on earth would I want to watch people not play at their best potential and the thing about an over is it's always alive. You can always have chance for the over to hit until it's 0-0. But if you bet the under, and if someone bet the under on your rushing yards and you just go OFF, why? Now you get to hate the game, and now you're hoping that he starts playing bad. I hate it. It's horrible. It's not fun.
You one of these new generation fans. You want to see all offense, points all over the board.
That's great. No, but she just don't wish bad on people.
You want to see no Steelers versus 85 Bears type. Wow.
No. I want to see all the flipping in the end zones. I want to see all the celebrations. That is the type of sports that I love right there. I love it. And now the reality is
I don't understand that. And I'm an offensive player.
Well, look, so even with me, honestly, I understand what you're saying because at some point, if you bet under, you're wishing bad on somebody. I've had friends who've had thousands of dollars on a game and it came down to a free throw. And he's like, God, I hope he misses free throw. Why would you ever wish that on somebody? That's how I see it. Why would you ever
bet the under?
But it's I
don't think you're wishing bad on anybody. I just think you're expecting them not to have a great offensive night or something like that. Or you're expecting a great defense to play great defense. Why can't it be the other way around? I'm expecting great defense. Not bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hoping for bad offense. I'm just expecting for great defense.
I think I understand that too, but I've even seen on the other side, sometimes over under, if you're under or over, you're praying at some point for somebody. That's why I don't really bet much because at some point if you're under and let's say the under is 100 and they at 99 and let's say it's 2 seconds left, he got 2 free throws. I know you hoping that he missed both of them, and that's kind of how I got into it. I don't I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna hope somebody miss free throws. Cause I know one thing, just like how I go out there and work really, really hard and run my behind off, I know he's in the gym right now shooting them free throws. So I just hope that
Yeah,
hard work pay
he
off for
sure
him.
is. He won't make that same mistake twice, that's for sure. But no, you wouldn't imagine how many times I have personally been burned on a missed field goal or missed free throws down to the wire. And there's this thing called the hook. So essentially, if the over is 55.5, that's just a random number. But that means that obviously you can't have a half a point in any sport. So it has to be 56, or if you lose it's if it's 55, you win if it's 56. So that hook is what really hurts people. So a lot of times you'll end with 55 and you lose by that 0.5, which is called the hook. And I can't tell you how many times I have felt burned by that. And that is literally Vegas just sitting back and laughing, going, ha ha ha, give me your money. And it hits me so many times and I'm like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe the amount of times I've said, I'm done betting. I'm just going to watch the sport. The next day I've got FanDuel up and running and I'm plugging in my next bet. It is crazy, but I'm really glad you brought up the danger thing, because it's true. I did not realize, I'm going to be honest with you. I put $5 down on my bets. Okay. I'm not flexing my bank account. $5, because I just don't want to spend any more, whatever. There are people out there dropping $50,000 on one bet.
Millions.
Like the Super Bowl. So I saw somebody
God.
lose like $3 or $4 million on that game.
And I just cannot justify that. I cannot justify in my brain. Here's how my brain works. I'm sitting there going, do you know how much food I could have gotten with that money? You know how many bags I could have bought? What's going on?
How many people had the Falcons in an upset against the Patriots that year in the Super Bowl?
Oh, they cried. They cried, especially how they lost. Oh yeah, they cried.
And for them to come back 28-3 and win the game, millions of dollars lost.
Somebody made
probably millions of dollars betting at halftime of the comeback. I mean, so it goes both ways. But yeah, Liv and Nyheim, there's a, I think there's a danger to it. How about the referee in the NBA a few years ago? Right, lost his job because he was point shaving or whatever he was doing. It was illegal. He was favoring one side. But man, it's crazy, man. Like it
makes it dangerous.
It really dangerous.
It does. You don't want it to become a situation where sports are losing their true meaning. It's all about these players. And like you said, Nyheim, people forget you guys are humans. I always have to tell myself before I put money on another person, I'm like, they are not a robot. They are a human being. They may be having a bad night tonight, and that's how it goes. But there are some people that can't put that in perspective. It's like, I have put my hard-earned money on you, so you need to do your job. It's like,
people forget human error. Like, even if you're a pro, there's a such thing as human error. Like, doesn't matter. Like, even me, I could be the best catcher ever. I'm gonna drop a ball. That's just how it works. Like, you're gonna fumble the ball, bad things gonna happen. And I think people forget the whole concept of human error and the fact that, and Turbo will say this, most athletes are human. Because you've been to away games. If them fans really thought they were human, you can probably go on this more because you played in Seattle. What they told me in Seattle in a preseason game was insane. So there's no way they could really remember that I'm human if they were, So I think people forget the human error. And that's really the biggest thing about the whole betting thing is you just got to hope that they're perfect that night. Like, whoever bets on Damian Lillard, like, some nights he's going for 50, but I know there's some nights where, he might not have the best night shooting. And he's still gonna do well, but he might not give you 30, but he's still gonna give you 20. And I have friends who bet on like field goal percentages and stuff. So like that's something I wouldn't do, but I think that is very, very interesting.
I try to leave the individuals alone, the props and things like that, because I want to, I still want the humanized betting. So I kind of focus on like the spread, like the team aspect.
Yeah, like the spread. If I were to bet, I would do spread. Spread is
over under. And there's one more usually, Liv, that's on there. Spread, over, under.
Money line. You can just pick who's gonna win.
Right, the money line. Yeah, I can pick Dame Lillard to go 30 plus tonight. I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather keep it like team.
You don't want to end up not liking Damian Lillard by tomorrow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So that's
cool. I have a question for both of you, because you've both been in a situation where I'm sure you have fans that are sending hateful DMs. I mean, I have perverts in my DMs, and I'm a nobody. I'm in my parents' house right now. I'm a nobody, but I still get creepy weirdos that are in my DMs saying weird crap. I'm sure you guys have seen an insane amount of hate and fans, again, not viewing you guys as human beings and just getting a little too intense. There's obviously a little controversy right now with the whole protect the players thing going on in the NBA. We've seen fans spitting on, NBA players, popcorn being thrown, water bottles being thrown. In my opinion, I kind of see both sides of it. Obviously, players should be protected 100%. There's also a part of me that believes this is part of the game of sports. This is, you can't control every person in the stands. The other part of me is like, okay, let's say that we do need to protect our players. What does that even look like, right? You ban them, you kick them out, they're not welcome back. What do you do before that? What do you do to prevent this situation?
Hey.
I mean, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, because the whole fan and player interaction right now is getting a little dicey, but it's like, what do you do? Because fans are a huge part of the sport, and we saw that when COVID was a thing and we didn't have those fans, the players hated it. They're like, okay, I need the people back in this stadium and in this arena, but we bring them back and now we've got these other problems. I'll let you both say something on this, but how do we fix an issue like that? Is there even a solution to a problem like that?
Turbo, I'm about to say, I'll take this one, Turbo. So this is what I'll say about the whole protecting. But I say with the whole protecting, we should be protected. And if this is what I'll tell you, if spitting on us and throwing water bottles and popcorn at us is part of the game, that means what Ron Artest did in the Palace is a part of the game too. So if people can throw stuff at us, we should be able to go in the stands and go talk to them, right? That's what
Absolutely.
I see. I promise you, if there were more instances like Ron Artest and the brawl in the Palace and things like that, I bet you a lot more people would be more reluctant to do things. Like I remember Kansas City in 2018 playoffs. Like somebody literally hit me in the face with an ice ball, like on the way, like smacked me in the face, bam. Like I'll never forget it. And I remember grabbing him and trying to pull him out the stand. And obviously I was wrong, but he was wrong too. Like, but also too, I bet he's probably not gonna throw a snowball at somebody. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but also too, we have to be respected and protected. But also too, if any person that
100%.
says that's a part of the game, that means, because I mean, let's be real. How many times in life does somebody hit somebody and they don't get hit back? And I'm not sitting here saying it's eye for an eye, but if it was normalized like that and fans thought about it like that, like, hey, if I threw popcorn or spit on this guy, he comes to the stands and really got to talk to me about it. Bet you people look at it a lot different. So I think it's a fine line between it. But honestly, the way I think about it, how about we just respect each other? Like I understand there's a fine line between what to do and what not to do. And also, too, when you do things like that, you're just gonna get the whole Trae Young thing. A lot of times when it happens, like you go piss a really, really player off, and like the whole state of New York probably hates Trae Young. But I can promise you one thing: all the stuff that happened is, Trae Young did a phenomenal job, and I think
he's still getting buckets. So
yeah, like I think they made him get more buckets. Like that man scored.
He eliminated your
probably
team
because he was mad. Like he almost single-handedly like just beat the Knicks. Like what he was doing in the fourth quarter and some of those plays in the game were crazy. And I bet he was thinking about how the fans are booing him. And at some point as athletes, we almost kind of like it. Like when you could see like he was liking it. And that's one thing I'll tell you, fans. Don't piss us off neither. Like like especially not like Trae Young or Kevin Durant, because they're gonna burn you.
There's a fine line, right? Like these fans, obviously, the chirping. I think that's what I mean more about it's part of the game is the fans like just being like la la la,
say whatever they want.
Yeah. But there's a fine line of straight up respect that can't be crossed. I saw a tweet that was so perfect, and it said, best way to protect our players is to leave the player in a dark room alone with the guy that acted out of pocket, and I promise you he won't do it again. And that's the truth. It's like Russell Westbrook said in his post-game interview, if I saw that guy walking on the street, I know for a fact he wouldn't pour popcorn on my head. And I was like,
that's facts.
That is true.
It's how I was raised. Like my mom always said, like, Nyheim, don't start a fight. They can say whatever they want to, but don't let them put their hands on you. So that's how I feel. Let them say they can say whatever they want. But as soon as you start spitting popcorn, that's putting your hands on somebody. And any person that punches, you're gonna punch them back. But like that's just how that works. And that's how I think the whole thing with the fans is.
Yeah. I agree. Turbo, do you have a different perspective or do you agree?
It's a fine line, and it goes back to what we talked about and discussed about humanization. To most fans, fans is short for fanatics, and so we're gladiators to most of these people. The only time that they ever see us for real is on TV, and so you're automatically glamorized and idolized, whether it's even an adult male, You will idolize, some of the better players or whoever they're fans of in the league, any league for that matter. And they want to teach their sons and daughters how to be like, Nyheim Hines one day. Man, let me take you outside and teach you how to catch a punt. And they buy a jugs machine, for their 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old son, right? And it's just this glamorization, it's this idolization, and so we're not humans, we're cartoon characters.
Truly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people that just are just untouchable. So when you haven't, that's why something as small as a handshake is like, oh my God, I'm never washing my hand ever again. Because it's like,
first of all, ew, gross. Wash your hand.
You know what I mean? But I never thought this would happen. And so there is a fine line, because you go to a show, maybe it's opera or something like that, ballerina, whatever it is, and it's horrible. What do the people in the crowd do? They start throwing trash on the stage and things like, those are you see it in movies. So it's almost normalized.
It very much. I was just going to say that.
You've seen it in movies and TV shows and things like, you've seen it in history, where if you see a bad performance, you just throw shit. It's just like, you see it in like the WWE, kind of thing too, right? They start throwing shit in the ring or whatever, right? If something is bad, but there's certainly a fine line. Obviously, if you think I suck, you want to tell me I suck, that's fine. You know what I mean? But times are different now. We're not in the 90s anymore, or even the early 2000s for that matter, or anything older than that, right? Right now it's about 2021. Mental health is such a huge thing now.
Huge.
Athletes are vocal in their stances on things and their opinions on things that are happening in our world. And so we're still there. That idolization is still there, but it's actually in ways kind of on steroids now because of social media. And there's so many more ways that we can share our opinions, and people can listen to us, podcasting and all sorts of other avenues, where back in the day, those weren't options really, and so now you have to, you have to respect me, not just as an athlete or a showman or an actor, actress, whatever it is, but as a human being, a person, with real issues in real life and real situations going on every single day, regardless of my cartoonistic character that you may see on TV. Look, think about it. When you turn on Monday Night Football, it's a show. They got, are you ready for some football? And then they got all the
wait, can you run it back, Turbo? One more time.
Right. All kinds of things. It's a show, the commercials, and I'm always sitting there like, how the hell did they put these highlights together so fast? It was only the first quarter.
I wonder that, like, you literally can score a touchdown, and I promise you by next commercial, they got a highlight of the whole drive every time you touch the ball. It's insane to me. I got to figure that out.
It's literally, that's why some people are like, dude, I just watched the game at home. It's so much better. You get so much more of a show than going to the game.
Dude,
right?
We're glorified entertainers.
But at the end of the day, fans have to realize we're human beings. We go home to kids every day. We have to father, athletes have to mother, their children and stuff like that. They take leaves, for pregnancy and all sorts of things. You know what I'm saying? And so it's changing, and fans have to be able to get onto that. Now, I think part of it, and you guys can disagree with me if you like, I don't know. I think part of it was fans just they didn't know how to. Been locked up haven't been to a game in forever.
Oh yeah,
COVID. I've been thinking that too.
100%.
They don't know how to know what to do. It's like a kid at the candy store. It's like,
just throw it at them like,
let's run on the court today.
God, I ain't seen Trey Young in 2 years. Let me throw something at him.
Yeah.
Right. And so
it's true though. You hit it on the head. It's honestly, I'm glad you brought up the history behind it too, because I didn't even think about that. We've made this in movies. They're throwing tomatoes on the stage at performances and plays that are weird and don't go the way that they want. And it's true. It's in history. And I also think too, in society right now, we're in this weird phase of like this cancel culture trend that I cannot stand. I'm sorry. I just can't. I feel like we are all walking on glass every day, making sure we say the right thing, do the right thing. And athletes and celebrities and actresses and actors are in the same position where it's like tweets that you tweeted out in 2001 are being brought up and held against you, and you're the worst human in the world. And it's like everyone is just on edge trying to be this perfect person. And it's kind of getting a little much. But I think, Nyheim, you said it best. It's all about respect. At the end of the day, it's a respect thing. And if you can't respect the people that you're paying to go watch, you shouldn't be allowed to go watch them. It's that simple.
Like you're paying to come see me. Why you gonna throw something at me? You literally just wait.
Right.
You're using your hard-earned money to vandalize me, I guess. Like you really paying to do that.
Well, and let's be real too. How much of this do we believe? Because I know that the guy at the Celtics game, I believe that I don't know who. He's maybe the one that threw something at Kyrie, I believe it was, the water bottle.
Yeah, the 21-year-old kid.
He was a young kid. Now, how much of that do we think he was excited to be featured all over Snapchat and TikTok and be that guy that pulled this stunt? I mean, it's just getting.
I know one thing.
I
know one thing. If he has the right parents, he will not be excited about it. Because I know if I did that, I know exactly what happened to me.
Oh my God!
My mom would have the worst. Oh, she would go crazy on me. I wouldn't be able to sit like a week.
And you know what?
That's on parents.
Listen, you want to make yourself look like a fool, fine.
Go ahead.
But I think, listen, he got his little for the moment, but now, now he's in a world. I mean, it's over. Nobody even thinks about the kid anymore. And now who knows what kind of legal, situation he's in now. You just kind of ruined a good chunk of your life, especially from a sports aspect. But I love what the league is doing. The NBA, man, they stepped in right away. And boom, and it happened again. Boom, it happened again. Boom. They're kind of laying down the law. Like we're not gonna just give you a slap on the wrist for this stuff.
Right.
A water bottle.
I think that's a good thing. Yeah, it's something that hasn't happened. So I think the one thing that has been happening is we're setting clear boundaries. Because honestly, this really hasn't. I haven't seen it for a while, but we are setting they're setting boundaries really quick, and that's really what's going to change it and make it better.
Yeah, you've got to make an example out of these few people that want to step up and. Put on a performance and act out of pocket. You got to make an example out of them. And I think that they're doing that. But I was just interested to get your guys' take because I've seen, controversy floating out there where it's like protect the players. But how? How do you do that? And, what does that look like for the fan base for the years to come? But I think you guys said it best. I mean, this is something that has been around for a long time. And we're also post-COVID. Everyone was cooped up in their house and now they finally get sports again. I mean, it's a weird way to react to being excited about finally getting sports again. I know I wouldn't be chucking crap on the court if I got to go to a game, but I mean, it boils down to respect. You guys are human beings, but sadly, I think with social media and the times that we're in right now, you guys have become these superstars. It's you are honestly entertainers now more than you're athletes. Sometimes it feels like you're put in this position to just entertain and to, fill people's screens on Sunday, and they forget that you're there doing a job, and your job is being an athlete and delivering your talent on the court or the field. And people forget that, especially people forget that when there's money on the game that they are watching, because I know Turbo and I have seen, and I'm sure Nyheim, you've seen it as well. But on the other side of it, when we're actually doing the betting as well, it's like people are so intense. It's like end all be all. It's like, forgive me, it is not my fault that you put your child's college fund on my rushing yards tonight. That was your fault. I did not ask you to do that. You did that. So if I don't hit it, that's on you. And I don't think people can do that. They think that they've got this entitlement that if I'm going to put money on this guy and support this guy and watch this guy, he needs to do what I need him to do. You're not puppets. People think you're puppets and you're not. But yeah, I just wanted to get your perspective on the fan stuff because I know that that's a hot topic right now, and fans are a big part of the game. They feed a lot of money into the programs and the organizations, but they also need to know where the line is. And I'm happy that the NBA is trying to draw that line in the sand and say, "Hey, listen."
Yeah, they did a good job with that. They did
a great job.
I don't know if the NFL would have done the same thing. Because
I don't know. Look, man. Look, I can tell you. I think I can say this, and I don't think anybody's going to know I'm wrong. I think the NBA probably has the best player association. Their associate, yeah. How they worked out their CBA and everything. I'm not saying ours is bad, but Lord, the NBA, even getting guaranteed money and stuff, they've done a great job with their player association.
I know how we can get what we want as NFL players, but I'll save that topic for another time.
We all have to collectively agree too. So. Shoot, honestly, we had a CBA and we had like 700 people in that vote. So how we really gonna represent? We had a quarter of our population. Well, how many guys is it? 20? I think it's probably 2,000, maybe 2,500. We had 700 or 800 guys not vote. That's a big part of the population. So we first off got to get ourselves together.
100%. And I think a lot of it comes from the not having confidence in it actually making a difference, for us. And so collectively, that's where we really have to get our heads back together. But I wanted to ask you this because earlier we talked about Julio Jones going to the Titans. You guys had a great addition this offseason and getting Carson Wentz. How's it been working with Carson so far? What do you think of him as a quarterback from what you've seen? Obviously you guys haven't put on the pads or anything yet, but just for what you've seen so far.
Man, I'm excited to work with him. He came in here, a humble guy. He's trying to personally get to know us, which is cool. Not every quarterback does that. And really just honestly, I probably got to get on the field like 2 weeks ago and run some routes with him and catch some passes. I like him so far. He throws pretty deep balls, and I think really I love Phillip, but Phillip isn't mobile. So I think that's an extra element to our offense where we can, finally move the pocket some, and maybe when something happens on third down, we can scramble. And I think that, we have a great team around us. So I think with Carson, I think he's hungry. I mean, honestly, I've done interviews on the past couple of weeks, and like they're like, Nyheim, do you think Carson come back? Like people say he's broken. Like they call a grown man broken because of, like he just struggled a little bit. Like, geez, like give the man some slack. I think Carson's hearing all that. I think Carson's internally motivated, and shoot, he should have been the MVP in 2017 regarding injury, and I think he's gonna get back to that. I think he's trying to get back to that, and I think he's gonna come out hot. I don't think he's gonna sputter out the gates at all. I think in the first game or two, he's gonna come out and just try to light it up.
How's his leadership?
It's been good so far. Now he's been good. Like he's doing what every leader does. If it's a first round draft pick or undrafted guy, he's talking to him, getting to know him, and I think that's the biggest thing is personally getting to know somebody, because you know how that is, especially when you like as a quarterback and your receivers, you got to kind of personally get to know them because you got to know them as a person, especially when you have different routes, option routes, and routes where it might be not just a route where you have to judge them. And I think knowing them as, at least for me, I run a lot of option routes and stuff. They probably got to get to know me as a person, know like, hey, now he might just say F it and go in here anyway. So I think that's one thing he's doing. And just I think just even him, he asked me about my sister one day. Like I didn't know he knew I had a twin sister. Like him even just knowing things like that, I think that's the start of being a good leader. Because what I'm saying, but yeah, like the people, like the field and stuff works out. Like that all will work out, but when you get the person who knows off the field, and even him just like we're gonna get together and go out and all the receivers and running backs are gonna get out and get together and throw. I think that's what's really important. Because in football, so we all athletes, we all do that, but I think getting off the field and getting together and chopping it up is really good.
All right, so over under. Colts winning the AFC South or the Titans? What am I betting this year? Does that even make sense, Liv, over under? Or should I say like money line?
You might as money line it.
That would be probably a futures bet.
Futures bet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Big Bro Turbo, you know me, like exactly how to answer this. I'm just gonna say that we're gonna put our best foot forward. I really don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know that we are a great team, and it would be nice to sweep the Titans for once. We go 1-1 with everybody, man. Like we cannot just. I've been trying to just sweep somebody. Like we finally got the Texans last year, and each year's a battle. So for us, I don't even when it comes to Titans, I just want to beat them both times, and the rest of the things will work out. But I know they have a great team, and shoot, we every time we played them, it was for first place. In the second game, we lost, but we were a game behind them. So that's how the AFC South is. Somebody's going 10-6, 12-4, 11-5, and it's always 2 or 3 teams doing that. So I know we're gonna try to just first off get out to a good start. So at the end of the year, we're not having to play our behind off, and maybe if we do sputter out and have a bad day, we're not eliminated from the playoffs. And I think that's what we're gonna do. Just we have a hard schedule. We're gonna get out to a good start.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm putting my money on your rushing yards. I love it. And I won't be mad at you. I'm not putting my kids' college fund on it. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on there, but I am big fan of yours. I'm gonna be riding with your rushing yards all year long. And you know what? If you let me down, guess what? I know you're human. So it is what it is. But I have no doubts in your performance this year because I think you're coming off of a lot of momentum. And like you said, year one, you were just getting your feet wet. But last year you really grew into that that player that you knew you were going to be. And I, from the way that you're just like very sneakily telling me how good you are and what you've got in your back pocket and the things that you've got cooking up, I'm just feeling really good energy. So I am all on the rushing yards right now. That is what I'm loving.
Yeah, y'all gonna be running the ball everywhere. But I am on the analyst, the analyst side of things now.
Yeah, you know the game. Yeah, so I know you know the game. But what I'll say is, at least for me, what's up?
He's
Talk
always
to me. What's up? Talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? I think the acquisition makes a difference. Okay. You guys are gonna make the playoffs. There's a question mark on Carson Wentz, no matter how great you say he is. You got to put the pads on. You got to play on Sunday. All right. You guys are
question mark for everybody though. There's a question mark on me. Question mark on everybody. That's NFL. You don't know what.
I know what I'm gonna get from you.
Last year don't matter.
I know you train. I watch the videos.
Oh my god!
Oh my
I know it. I see it on Instagram. All right. Now I haven't seen any. Actually, I've seen Derrick Henry in his training videos too, a little bit, a couple of them.
I've got a training video coming soon, by the way.
It's more barbaric. You don't ever see him doing anything on the field, moving. He
just
everything
in the world doing something
like.
Man, I saw him ready to stiff arm. I saw him on a Bosu ball, just like there were people running up. He was just stiff arming him. I was like, oh, that's just
right. I saw that one.
I
got to get my balance right. My balance is trash.
Man, forget that. If I'm a DB looking at him, I would duck. He doing that. Did you see how hard he was stiff arming him on one arm on a Bosu ball? I can't even do that on 2 feet on the ground. That's insane.
Exactly.
Next episode, Turbo's going to be on a Bosu ball. Whole episode.
You know what I'm saying? So money line, I got that. I got the Titans right now winning the AFC South. I hope y'all prove me wrong though, and don't go back to the facility telling everybody Turbo.
Do it. That's social media. Y'all are probably gonna post on social media. I like it. I mean, look, I understand it. We have not won the division since I've been there. We've gotten second place or third place every time. So it's time for us to take that step.
No. I thought you guys won the division in 17.
We didn't win in 18. We didn't win it my rookie. Oh, I wasn't there yet. So in 17, I wasn't there. Well, 18 with luck, we got second. That's why we played at Houston. So we haven't won. There have been like last year we were a game behind.
You were on the
last
team.
year.
It was 18. You guys didn't win the division 18?
Nah, when we played the Texans, they had what kills us every year is the AFC losses, man. That's why we've been right.
You guys did lose to the Texans the last game.
Whatever. No, it's not even. No, we didn't lose to them. It's just all of our losses are AFC, and once you have the same record, they go to your AFC losses, and that's like. But you guys, even last year, all of our losses were AFC losses. Like
you still made the playoffs that year, though, right?
Yeah, we made it, but like we were. That's why like even the Titans last year when we were tied, they had the tiebreaker on us because whatever reason we always just lose AFC games. So like both us and Houston went 10-6. But like all 6 of our losses were AFC losses, and most teams, when they play NFC teams, they split it. We just for whatever reason just losing the AFC. I don't know why, but we got to change that too.
All right, so we want to know about these TD celebrations. What goes into it? Are you practicing these at practice?
I mean, they are so electric and so just like. I mean, honestly, it's one thing to throw a messy back tuck and just like fall all over. Your execution is a 10 out of 10. I'm a dancer, so I'm allowed to say that. Your execution is 10 out of 10. So where does this come from? Is this part of the workout routine?
No. Well, if you're talking about the flips, I mean, I've been able to do those flips since probably, how old am I, 24? I've been able to do flips 12 years. I've been doing those things forever. So that's just something in the bag. I don't practice those. Like that flip on the flip I did in Detroit, I have never done it in full pads. I've done it in full pads, but I've never done it with helmet on. But I knew I would get around. It was just confidence.
That adrenaline just popped you over so quick.
Oh, it wasn't even adrenaline. That flip I've done that flip probably 5,000 times. Like I've been doing it for 12 years.
Where did you learn that you were capable? I mean, there's not many football players that are like, I'm just going to give this a try really quick and see if it sticks.
Well, first off, this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say about the whole thing. Like, I'm 5'9", 95 pounds. There's a reason why I'm in the NFL. Like, we all have our different athletic abilities that make us freaks. Like, for me, it's my speed. And, like, even the flip, like, most of my game is on my speed and athleticism. That's what makes me me. And I think for me, like, even noticing that is just my childhood. Like, when I was a child, I used to run around all the time. I used to flip all the stuff. So it only, like, they used to call me stuntman in like high school, in like elementary school. And I used to honestly free run. So, like, if you even went on my Facebook, I have a good friend, Mike Dehaney. If you go on my Facebook from, like, when I was younger, there's videos of me running up trees, flipping off houses, flipping 10 feet out the air. Like, the flip I did in the end zone, I come off a wall and do it and twist like that. So it's just doing it like on 2 feet is easy. I can do that flip standing. I just chose to do it round off because I've never done it before with a helmet on. But that same flip, I'm pretty sure I can do standing. I just didn't want to take a chance of busting my ass on national television. So I made sure I did a round off and got around. But so, like, if I knew I was gonna be judged, I definitely would have, like, tried a little bit harder because everybody was talking about landing and stuff. I was just doing it because, like, nobody else can do it. And, like, since I got in the NFL, I said that, like, ever since I was in middle school, I was like, or high school especially, I was like, when I go to the league, the first touchdown I score, I'm gonna do it full. But whatever reason, I don't really plan my celebrations. I'm just kind of spontaneous, and that day I woke up and felt like doing it. So that's the day I did it.
Has anyone in your family been in gymnastics? Because I'm even so like you're calling it by its name. You're not just saying flip. You said full. You said round up. There are not a ton of people that know that terminology. So
my family, nobody in my family is gymnastics, but I got recruited for cheerleading every year, like high school and college. They always tried to get me out there and tumble. So I never did it, but like I was always real cool with the cheer team. Like, I would always, even NC State now, I'll go tumble with them right now if I saw them. Like, if they got the mats out, I'll go throw them a little bit. Bro. What?
I thought you learned some of this from your sister.
I learned that, honestly, if you want me to be real, I learned how to flip from Jeff Hardy. If you want me to be real, I've always been the wrestler Jeff Hardy, like WWE Jeff Hardy, like. That's the reason I know how to flip. I can tell you the story. So, like, I don't know when I learned how to backflip, but, like, every time I've been on trampoline my whole life, I've always been able to do one. I don't remember how or when I learned it, but, like, ever since I was, like, 6, 7 years old, I've always been able to do one. But Jeff Hardy, I don't know how much you keep up with wrestling, but one of his signature moves, not his finisher, is Whisper in the Wind, where he run up the turnbuckle, twist, and kick somebody in the head. Yeah. So one day I did it, like, I was just doing it, and I landed it. And then one day I just did it and just rotated too much and on the trampoline and just spun all the way around, did a full. And then did it a couple of times, got my confidence right. I had a friend doing it too. Then, like, I know, like, you know how we are as guys, like, girls are a little different because they don't have, like, you know, the strength that we have. But I was like, man, I got the balance. I know I'm getting around. So I went out there and just threw it. And it came back around. And ever since then, I've been able to do it.
That's another reason not to bet against Nyheim Hines. Anyone listening, listen up. Because the one thing that stands in people's way of not being able to tumble, and I know this because I've obviously been in the dance cheer world my whole life, the one thing that stands in people's way of not being able to tumble is fear. He clearly has none. So why you would bet against someone like that is beyond me, but I'm here to tell you, I'm reading in between the little codes he's flying into the universe, and I'm telling you right now, this man is not scared. He is ready to turn up. So betting against him, this is for Jason Herman, who had those book it posts feeling some type of way about all your flips and betting against you. This is a message exactly right here. Check it out. Don't do it. Do not bet against Nyheim Hines because he's going to go off. He's going to flip in your face and it's going to make you upset because I'm telling you, tumbling, the reason people can't do it is because they're scared. You are obviously scared.
That's the only way I tell everybody that. That's how you land on your neck. The only way you land on your neck is if you bail out. Because if you actually just commit to it, you're going to at least land on your knees and get around. And also, Jason,
it's fear.
Jason, Jason, next year, I hope you bet with me this time and we win. Just donate the money right here. MDA.
Ooh!
Tell us about it.
Yeah, what is MDA?
Oh, MDA. So MDA is the Muscular Dystrophy Association. I'm actually this year the 2021 national spokesperson. And I mean, there's a lot of things I can say about it, but my mom has muscular dystrophy. Turbo knows how important it is to me. But my mom has muscular dystrophy, and with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, all the money that we use, first off, they facilitate over 150, hospitals all around the world, and with all that, they don't even just take care of people with muscular dystrophy. They take care of 43 other neuromuscular diseases too. So it's a big community. Honestly, the fact that I'm even a national spokesperson, have the platform and do that is pretty cool. So
incredible. Congratulations.
And anything else, just go to mda.org. That's all I can say.
I am going to bet on your rushing yards any chance that I get. And if we cash, the money's going straight to MDA. You have my word.
Really?
There you go. So there's your little motivating factor. Don't let Liv
that-
Moods down, and shout out MDA. That's what it is. I'm going to put
I'm
it
not gonna
straight
lie.
towards.
That's the only thing with fantasy football or betting that has ever motivated me. I promise.
There you go.
That right there.
Boom.
So knowing that there's gonna be a game that you bet on me, and I know that the money's going here, I'm definitely gonna play hard.
I will do it. Mark my words. I will have Turbo send you receipts. It's going to happen. I'm excited. One
Well,
thing I want to, yeah, exactly. You do your part. I'll do mine. How about that? Amazing. Love it. You'll always do your part, though. I have no doubts. But one thing that the last question I had for you is, you've kind of insinuated this a little bit throughout this episode, but if there was one thing that you could tell every person that is either betting on you or against you, one thing about Nyheim Hines that you would love to say to these people that are putting their money on you, what would it be?
Okay, this is what I would say. I don't care if you bet with me or against me. I'm about to go out there and hoop. So that's my goal. It doesn't work like that every time, and sometimes you know how the NFL works is you're behind or ahead, the opportunity. But I know each week I wake up on Sunday, I look myself in the mirror, I say 2-1, we about to go hoop. So that's what I plan to do. I plan to go out there, play the best I can, and I know that people bet against me or bet over and under, but whatever you guys are betting. If you're betting over, just know whatever you guys are betting over, I'm always trying to do that. Like, I want to get 100 yards every time I do it. I haven't had a 100-yard rushing game yet. So the game I would have had it, I had 4 runs called back. So there's all those things I'm really chasing. I really want to just play well. And I think I can do that. And I think I'll have the opportunity to do that. And that's what I look to do.
I love it. Turbo, you have any other last questions for him?
This is all I got right here.
Yes, sir. Shout out Moneybag.
I love it.
Bet on Nyheim, baby. That's all I got.
Every time. Nyheim, thank you so much for coming on this episode and taking the time to talk with us. If you guys, just want a quick recap, obviously bet on him. He's got it going on. Great off and on the field, which we love. We talked a little bit about the fans and how we're protecting the players and kind of how the game has evolved. And also MDA, Muscular Dystrophy Association. Head to their website. He is the national spokesperson this year, which is huge. Congratulations.
Awesome.
But thank you so much for joining us. I can tell you're just a stellar guy off and on the field, and I'm very, very excited to watch you do your thing this year. I think it's another season of careers, setting new bests and getting career highs, and I can't wait to watch it unfold. So appreciate you for joining us, Turbo. Thank you for getting him on here, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you. Maybe we'll do another episode in the middle of the season and see where we're at with your career highs and everything like that. But we appreciate you being on here for sure.
Thank you guys for having me. And Turbo, no, all big bro guys just text me. He know I'm on here. So
amazing. Thank you.
Dog. All right, dog.
All right, guys, take care.